Claude Cowork plugins is the equivalent of giving a human superhuman power when it comes to both leverage and productivity. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through what plugins are, how they work, the difference between plugins, skills, and connectors inside of Claude Cowork, how to actually build a plugin from scratch, how to upload them and download them, and some important safety things that you need to be aware of so you don't end up getting hacked and someone running up your account for a load of money. So let's get right into it. So here's a simple diagram of exactly the difference between skills, connectors, and plugins inside of Claude Cowork. So a skill is what Claude actually does, whether it's presentations, LinkedIn posts, PDFs, Google Docs. So it's a specialized instruction for Claude around a specific task. A connector is what Claude connects to. So what external things it needs to connect to complete the task. So this could be Gmail, Google Calendar, Slack. There is a whole plethora of these that you can connect to, okay? And then the plugin is the installable bundle of the capabilities. So it's the combination of everything put together. So think about this very simply. A skill is a recipe. A connector is a pot or an oven. And the plugin is the chef, the pot, the oven, the skill, all the culinary equipment, all the food, and it knows how to get from raw ingredients to a meal on the table and everything in between. So inside of Cowork, we're going to go over to the top left and we're going to click on Customize. And then we're going to see skills, connectors, and most importantly, plugins. So you can see here, I've already got creative, marketing, brand voice, ads, and YouTube plugins that I've created. And then here you see add plugin. Now we have the option to browse, to upload, and to create with Claude. And this is the thing that I absolutely love about Claude. It is so meta in this regard that you use Claude to create skills and plugins that make Claude more effective at delivering the result that you want. So first of all, we're going to go to browse plugins. And this is a list of plugins that Claude or Anthropic give you out of the box. And it is incredible what it's able to do. So you've got finance, data, legal, marketing, customer support, productivity, Slack for Salesforce. And they're just constantly adding these all of the time. If you want to add one of these, if I wanted to add, for example, human resources, I literally just click install and it will start installing that plugin, right? And then I come off here. And you can see the human resources plugin is already on the left. It says the Anthropic partners is who it's from, the author is this, and this is the commands and the skills within it. And we can click on these and we can actually go through exactly what makes up this plugin. So these are all the skills inside of the human resources plugin. So we've got compensation benchmarking, employee handbook, interview prep, org planning, people analytics, and recruiting pipeline. And then we've got the connectors. So these are the things that it needs to be connected to have its full functionality. So we see Slack, Google, Gmail, Notion, Atlassian, or Microsoft 365. And then we've also got the commands that run this plugin. So it runs from a connectors.md. And you can see it's baked all of this out. Now you can come inside of another plugin. So let's say you've downloaded a plugin and here's one that I have. If I wanted to come in to any plugin that I've got, I can come on top right here and click customize. So if we go back to this human resource plugin and I'm going to click customize up here, it's going to bring me back to Claude Cowork and it's going to pre-put in this text here. I can then say what I want it to do. Based on my company vibe consultant, I want this to be specific to onboarding and HR around salespeople. So that's now going to go away and actually start building this plugin. It's obviously going to ask me a series of questions to make sure it's always on the right path, because if it doesn't, it's just going to be totally arbitrary, right? Every time we are doing this, and again, Claude gets smarter over time, it's going to always ask you a series of questions to make sure the end result you get, the plugin, the set of skills, the commands, the connectors, is going to be exactly what you need and want to get the final results you want, okay? Because it's really easy to create some boring, mundane plugins that you don't really use, but creating really good plugins and really good skills that actually have utility to you, it takes a few iterations. So I commonly will go back and forth with Claude 2 or 3 times on any given skill just to get it exactly where I want it. And that doesn't mean I don't iterate on it in the future, but it means it's got to a point where I'm happy to actually start using it. So as we can see here, it's now finding all the resources, it's listing all the files, it's checking placeholders, and it's doing all of that good stuff. So I just want to touch on the plugins for a minute. A plugin is a series of things all working together. So it's got something at the top, and then it's got people below it, and it might have people below that, depending on its complexity, all doing independent and individual tasks. That's why inside of some of my more complicated ones, there is a lot of different skills and a lot of different agents within them to get the end result. So for example, in this YouTube one, there is here 7 different skills that are all getting used by one singular plugin. So imagine that as 7 sub agents all going away and doing these one specific task, and then it's coming back to the plugin, and then it's getting iterated upon from that point. And then we've got the whole command. So this is like how we actually interface and interact with this plugin and what we want to achieve. So if we want to focus on packaging, we can use these short commands here. But plugins are insanely powerful. You have to spend the time doing them correctly, because again, if you don't, they're just novel. And ultimately, if you were just building something for a gimmick, or, I mean, that's fine if you're just getting started. But the reality is when you do this properly, you are gonna 10x, 20x, 30x your output. This is why we are seeing people in the AI revolution now building 1, 2 person, 50, 100, 200, $500 million per year companies using tools and resources like Claude, Claude Cowork, Claude Code to give them the leverage they need, all the sub-agents they need, because now we basically have unlimited employees for a few $100s a month. And that is how you need to be perceiving this, and that is how you need to be kind of walking through the world and looking at Claude and what they're doing is, hey, I now have 5,000 employees I have access to and I can create who are perfectly aligned with exactly what I want to do, who know exactly what they need to achieve, and they work 24/7, 365, and it costs me a few $100s a month rather than a few $100,000 a month. So now we're back on the HR plugin, and we can see it's asking a few questions to get clarity. What do we want to use? So I want to use Slack, Notion, Google Workspace. I'm going to say it's for 5 to 15 salespeople. And there is no formal process yet, and it is a base plus commission, right? Now it's got more information for it to go ahead and start building this plugin for me. So that's taken about 5, maybe 7 minutes to complete, totally autonomously. So let's just have a look at what it's done. So first and foremost, you can see the progress. So it's gather vibe consultant context, it's replace placeholders, customized onboarding, customized interview skill, recruiting pipeline, performance reviews. It's gone through every single thing, and it said search and connect relevant MCPs. So HubSpot in this case. So if I wanted to update this, because we actually use close.com, I could actually just say, hey, I don't want to use HubSpot, I want to use close.com. And then on the right here, we can see context, and these are all the things that it has used to actually build out this plugin. So these are essentially all the skills now within this plugin. So let's have a look. All tool reference in your stack. So Slack, Notion, Gmail, Google Calendar, and HubSpot. It's been tailored to BDR, SDR roles on a base plus commission percentage, 5-day schedule with guidance for a 30, 60, 90-day ramp, which is amazing because that's actually how you do onboard reps. There we go. We've got 6 different commands. We've got /onboarding, /draft offer, /comp analysis, /performance review, /policy lookup, and /people report. Then we can even click on this here, and it would actually show us all these skills and their associated files. So we can click and look. So the employee handbook markdown file is here. So employee handbook, answer questions from employees, commission, comp, pay structure, and it is all in there. Now, if I just hit save plugin, that is now going to have saved the plugin within the plugin section. So if I just click it back up here, now this human resources section here has now been updated with the entire Vibe Consultant brand. Now, another thing, if you want to just create one, again, totally manually with Claude, you can click create with Claude and it will walk you through step by step exactly how you do that. If you want to add your own or from different repositories, you can go to personal, you can upload locally. You can click add here from either GitHub or a URL or upload. Now, what I will say is at this point in recording, and this will change very, very, very quickly, there is a lot of Claude code directories for skills and plugins and stuff, which we can repurpose, but there hasn't actually been any Claude Cowork directories come up as of right now. They will be coming very quickly where we'll be able to just install right away. Something I just want to make you aware of when we are installing anything from a third-party provider. Anthropic isn't checking that code for malicious attacks, anything like that that might steal your data, steal API keys, anything from hackers. So you need to only work with people that are releasing content that have a lot of high ratings. They've been doing this basically for a long time, and that's all within GitHub. Or if you're uploading it from somebody else, it needs to be someone who you essentially know, like, and trust. Also, something else that's really important is you looking after your API keys. And we do this with what you call a .env file. So inside of my Claude Cowork folder on my desktop, which you'll see here, I apparently do not have a .env file, but that is not true because your computer as standard, anything that has a dot at the start, it will hide. That is the code for hide it. So if I do Command, Shift, and full stop or period or whatever you'd like to call it, you will now see there is my .env file. Now, I'm obviously not going to click it because it has all my personal API keys in it, but that is how we hide it from prying eyes. So also inside of Claude Cowork, we can just say, hey, look for my .env file. And even though it is hidden from us visually, Claude Cowork can actually find it and see it and look in that, but it will never upload that data. It'll never make it public no matter what. And whether you're using Cowork or Claude Code, you always use .env files for any API keys because if hackers get a hold of these, that is how they're going to run up a crazy bill because an API key has no limits, right? You essentially have connected your credit card with this thing, and if they want to go run, a million tokens through it, they essentially can. That's why it's very, very important you do hear horror stories. So really important note, have a .env file in the folder. It will always be hidden as standard. And then if you want to unhide it, it's Command Shift in the period on Mac at least. So the final thing to do here is for us to actually use the plugin that we have now updated. So we're going to use the HR plugin. So you can do it two ways. You can click the plus, you can go to plugins, you can go human resources, and this is where it's going to autofill the commands. So for example, if I want to say onboarding, that is now going to evoke the HR plugin for the onboarding, and it's going to prompt the question. So I'm going to say we're onboarding an account executive and hit let's go. And now it's going to go ahead and follow the plugin. So all the skills, it's going to ask me a series of questions to do the job correctly. And this is how it gets so powerful, right? Essentially, whoever in the business you give this to can now do a really good job, and they don't have to follow an SOP. They can just follow the Claude Cowork plugin, and it is just going to direct them to essentially fill out information. And there is even a way of making this even more autonomous where that doesn't even need to happen because we can actually just integrate with our system and it automatically does all of this. Right now we're showing just the manual way of doing it. Well, I say manual, it's more like semi-autonomous. So I'd love to put together a comprehensive onboarding. Let me grab a few details first. It's just going to ask me a couple of questions, and then it's so it can do a good job. So I have the name ready. When's the start date? It's here. I'm going to say it's me, and I'm going to say it's all verticals. So that's now done. It's taken a few minutes. You can see it's used the docx skill and the onboarding command on the right, and it's had this output, the onboarding plan. So let's open that up here and see what it looks like. Sales onboarding plan. Send welcome email, send accounts, create HubSpot account, add to Slack channels, add to calendar, assign onboarding buddy, prepare laptop, share Notion, prepare Todo, which is amazing. Look how good this is. Holy shit, man. It's insane. Welcome to the company vibe consultant with Andrew, tool up with a buddy, team, stakeholder meetings at 12, welcome lunch, Andrew and team, self, product and knowledge, consultant services breakdown. Dude, this is insane. I hate to admit it, this is genuinely better than what I currently have. Like mine doesn't have this much depth in my company right now. This is incredible, man. Ramp goals. Yeah, month one, 50% of quota, which I totally agree. By month two, 75% usually full quota, but again, great, like really good context. Look, qualified discovery, full quota by month, yeah, 7 to 8 meetings. Look at that, onboarding buddy, tool access, a specific onboarding notes, tips for success. As you can see, this is incredible. Like this seriously blows my mind. All of this stuff that I am now doing, that people like yourselves are going to start doing, it's unbelievable how good quality it is that it's coming out with. Like it is significantly better than people that I've paid at my companies in the past, and that is no word of a lie. So if you enjoyed this video and you want more like this, I'm dropping content about Cowork, I'm dropping content about automations, how to make money with AI. Check out this video next and make sure to smash that subscribe button. And if you are a business owner and you would like us to come in and be your AI transformation firm and take you from AI absent to AI native, second link in the description, and I will see you in the next one.